why on earth would she purchase an entire boar's head? I'm going to have a talk with that woman. Oh, good evening, and welcome back to Whodunit Hall. If this is your first time visiting us, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Edgeworth, the butler, your guide through the Master's extensive collection of mystery films. Once again, please forgive my informality in broadcasting from the kitchen. The library is currently being fumigated, and there was a small accident involving the Master's grey wolves, his automated humidor, and a Girl Scout cookie order. Let us talk about today's film. Comedy and mystery are two elements which blend together remarkably well. In fact, a good majority of comedy films produced in the 1980s and 1990s all featured some sort of mystery or crime element to them. Sometimes they were full-on murder mysteries, other times they were just some sort of screwball crime caper. Today we're going to take a look at a film that came from the tail end of that era and also came from the minds of what is considered one of Hollywood's greatest storytellers. Well, at least up until 1999. Because today we are going to take a look at George Lucas's Radioland Murders.
Radioland Murders was conceived by Mr. Lucas during his writing the film American Graffiti. The initial script, written by Willard Hayek and Gloria Katz in 1973, was set in 1939 as an homage to both old-time radio and the screwball comedies made during that time. The script would languish in what is termed development hell for 20 years until Mr. Lucas was able to convince Universal Pictures that with new digital matte technology, the film could be made for $10 million. This budget would inflate to $15 million once production began. The script was updated, and the film features an all-star cast, including Mary Stuart Masterson, Brian Benben, Jeffrey Tambor, Stephen Tobolowsky, Robert Klein, Peter McNichol, Harvey Korman, Ned Beatty, Christopher Lloyd, Michael McKean, Larry Miller, and Rosemary Clooney. The film is also notable for being the final film appearances of Anita Morris and George Burns.
Sadly, the film was panned by critics and did not do well at the box office, only making $1.7 million of its $15 million budget back. However, bad reviews and bad box office do not a bad mystery make. So, with our minds firmly open, let's take a look at Radioland Murders.
Radioland Murders opens on a shot of the broadcasting tower of new radio network WBN on the evening of its inaugural coast-to-coast broadcast. We then go inside to find WBN page Billy Budget encounter the station owner's secretary, Penny Henderson, and her writer-husband, Roger.
I just want you to know that I'm not just a page. You know, I'm a man of many talents, and if you ever give me a chance to prove myself, you won't be sorry, Miss Henderson.
Mrs. Henderson. Her name is Mrs.
Right, Mr. Henderson?
Not now, Roger. I don't have time to be talked out of divorcing you.
Hiya, Roger. That's a swell suit. Oh, the dog says hello and say, what's that last thing? Oh, yes, my life has no meaning without you.
After checking in at the booth with director Walt Whalen Jr., Penny reports to Walt Jr.'s father and the head of the network, General Whalen, stating that the network's biggest sponsor, industrialist Bernie King, wants a word with him.
Most revolting, moronic, and insipid trash I've ever read in my life.
Ah, he must be looking at the script for Star Wars Episode 1. There, the obligatory joke has been made. May we move on now?
Those scripts stink. They're not funny. Here. Look at this one. A philosophy professor who murders people by convincing them they don't exist.
It's satire, Mr. King.
It's crapola, Mrs. Henderson. I am General Whalen's biggest sponsor, young lady. And if I pull out, the others will follow.
After getting reprimanded by King, Penny tries to deal with Roger.
It's so silly, isn't it? The little disagreements couples have.
Little disagreements? You had an affair, Roger, with a station manager's wife.
I told you 100 times, nothing happened.
Right, with an actress billed as the va-va-va-voom girl.
It's not my fault she's done a classic.
Everything was fine. Everything was Jake, and you had to throw it all away for one night of pleasure.
Well, believe me, sister, there was no pleasure.
Spare me your shortcomings.
With half the scripts thrown out and needing immediate rewrites, the writers respond with tact and professionalism.
Jules!
Tell that SOB King to do his own rewrite.
Gentlemen, lady, please, a little decorum.
Meanwhile, station manager Herman Katzenbach is having marital problems of his own with his wife, station singing star Claudette.
Thank you very much. I was just...
Oh, Mr. Katzenbach, Ruffles said he'd like to speak to you right away. Said you'd know what it was about.
Ruffles?
Ruffles, trumpet player?
Oh, please, that horn blowing...
Now you listen to me, Junior. Don't you think that I don't know what's going on, because I do know, and now you know that I know.
Listen, I don't know what you know that I know, but I do know that you don't know what you think you know.
Oh, no?
No. Come on, Penny, back to the booth. Clearly, this man is an idiot.
Sir.
Yeah.
Wrong way.
Okay.
The writers continue to work on the scripts, and sound effects man Zoltan searches for the right sound.
Still not the sound of the head smashing. That's it.
To all the local stations who have affiliated with us, be assured that I have assembled a top-notch squadron of professionals, redefining the phrase, grace under fire.
Well, there's no reason to panic. We haven't even gotten to the opening credits yet. Besides, it's far too early for the first murder.
Billy sends Penny and Walt Jr. to the booth where sound engineer Max Applewhite is preparing to go live on the air. Down on stage, the aforementioned Ruffles, the trumpet player, takes a quick sip from a flask.
Gentlemen, I give you America's newest network, WBN.
Arriving in the booth, Walt Jr. makes a snap decision to open the show with Dexter, the announcer, played by Corbin Burnson, who introduces the House Singers, the Miller Sisters, the Dead Tones, and the House Band with leader Rick Rochester. But something odd happens.
First, gather up the kitchen caboodle and stay with us till the stroke of 12 for an evening of everything but the kitchen sink. Well, it sounds like we have that too. Believe you me, folks, we've got a night full of surprises.
Dig to find some dirt. Dig too deep and you'll get hurt.
Something cut in.
Well, that's not right. What went wrong, Max?
Must have been an open mic.
No. I've only one pot open.
Cue the band.
Carrying on, the band goes into its first number of the film, which concludes dramatically.
What a hand.
11 minutes in. All according to Sid Field. If you do not know who Sid Field is, I'm afraid that joke will be lost on you.
Backstage, things are quickly reaching a crisis. Zoltan confirms Ruffles is dead. Meanwhile, the first show of the evening is without a script. Panic sets in at the writer's room.
So the black whip hits him on the head with his log.
Dad, he doesn't have a log. He has a whip. If he had a log, he would be known as the Black Log.
What do you expect me to do? Improvise? Don't worry. I'll take care of it.
Let's get back to what we're not getting paid for. This ending is strictly bonus bonus. Can't we find a fresh way out of this?
He could hug him.
Hug him?
Yeah. Tell him they're long-lost brothers and make him his partner.
Morgana, you did it again.
You know, let's go.
Roger and Billy rush the script to the stage, while Walt Jr. and Katzenbach have another encounter. Ruffles is carted out, and Roger picks up the flask which falls from Ruffles' pocket. After a brief encounter with the high-strung star of the Black Whip, the show goes on and Roger tries again to get Penny's attention, and we find out why Roger's on the outs with his wife.
Knock it off, Roger. Have you finished the Gork Son of Fire script yet?
It's percolating.
We'll bring it to a boil.
Oh, come on, Penny. Okay. No, here's how I figure it. We met working on the radio. We got married working on the radio. We can't get divorced. You might end up marrying out of the medium.
Great idea. Someone with less imagination.
Less
Have you seen Walt
imagination.
Jr.? Where the hell is
Less
he?
imagination. Well, excuse me, operator. I think I have a bad connection. And say, if it's Claudette you're talking about, that was your imagination.
My imagination? I saw you locked together in her dressing room like Siamese twins attached at the zipper.
But she attacked me.
What, assault with a friendly weapon? You were lying on top of her.
Oh, now come on, Penny. She took me down with a headlock. I never knew what hit me.
Your shirt was off.
It ripped on the hat rack when I fell.
Well, she wasn't wearing a stitch.
Breakaway evening gown? Okay, so the woman holds the land speed record for stripping.
And now, a moment of science fiction.
This is no time to give up. We're all wearing our thermic molecular transometer suits. They should protect us in our quest to thwart the Neptunian lava monster.
Bill, it's getting closer.
Jumpin' Jiminy gee whiz, Biff.
Quiet, Jimmy. There's no time for that now. Betty, let me check your tubes.
Check anything you want, Biff.
Penny and Roger return to the booth, Penny informing Roger she needs the next script in 12 minutes, while Roger pledges to prove he wasn't having an affair with Claudette. This is true, as we see Claudette is having an affair with Walt Jr. right as Roger arrives, looking to confront the singer. As Roger begs Claudette to tell Penny that nothing happened between them, Katzenbach arrives, leaving both Roger and Walt Jr. to hide in the room.
Herman, I told you I don't like to be disturbed before a show, or after a show, or at home in my bedroom when I'm thinking about a show.
I spoke to Ruffles before he died.
What do you mean?
Ow!
Who was that?
No, not under there. Gee, I could have sworn I left that script. Oh, hiya, Herman. I didn't hear you come in.
You! What is this weasel doing in here?
Maybe it blew over there. What do you think?
Roger, about that script change you wanted me to run past Penny. Would after the show be soon enough?
Returning to the writer's room, Roger discovers a script that's ready to go. Unfortunately, it's for the wrong series. In the meantime, drunken head writer Jules finds Ruffles' flask.
That's the best. Okay. Terrible. No wonder it was the garbage.
Oh, Roger, this is terrible. This is bad. This is bad stuff.
I found it, Jules. It belonged to Ruffles.
Oh, if you're going to be a serious gin hound, I recommend that you develop some taste. This is rat poison. Oh, what the hell?
For Pete's sake, Jules, we've got work to do.
I'll drink to that.
Note to self, hardcore alcoholics can detect poison in liquor just by smell. What?
Out in the hallway, Penny discovers Walt Jr. and Dexter scuffling, and the writers struggle to complete the script.
What if the wife smashes him over the head with a frying pan, then chops him in hundreds of tiny little pieces with her shiny new carving knife?
No, I don't think so. You can't
It's a family show. Okay, well then, what if she does it to the whole family?
No! What's wrong with you?
You never like any of my ideas.
Well, I would certainly tune in.
Thanks to some timely assistance from Morgana, the station cleaning lady, the script is finished and Billy rushes to the stage, arousing the ire of Katzenbach, but the show goes on with the set changing thanks to Katzenbach's rotating stage. Up in the booth, Walt Jr. finds a note from Claudette. Additionally, it appears there's been a slight problem with the script.
Die, infidel. Die like a dog, writhing in pain from the horror known as the Curse of Nebuchadnezzar.
Well, that's not right.
Thanks, Mom. You always seem to know what's best.
That's good.
We didn't write that.
It's too creative.
You got that right.
Excuse me, I think someone's at the door.
Oh, that must be your father.
You take it. What the hell is going on?
One is doing the soap, the other's doing Tom Adventure.
While Penny deals with the confusion of the scripts, Walt Jr. sneaks out of the booth to meet up with Claudette. Eventually, the scripts are sorted out and the show goes on as planned.
Mildred, is that you?
What's he doing
sorry
now?
I frightened you, dear. I was kidnapped by a band of Egyptian nomads and hypnotized into thinking I was a warrior of the Sahara, but the gunshot snapped me out of it, and now I'm back. Do you have any coffee made?
Why, yes, Mom. There's a fresh pot on the stove.
Sounds perfect. Even though there's
Hardly time to say a prayer before we move on to the... What?
Or possibly not. Max heads out to check the connections at Master Control, while the station goes to a commercial.
Blue sky, fresh as a spring rain, cool as a summer breeze. Blue sky's got the smoke that goes down smooth.
Blue sky.
I told Dexter not to smoke. If you ask me, they ought to put warnings on those packages.
It won't help.
Max isolates the strangling as coming from the 13th floor, and Penny heads up to investigate. As Penny investigates the floor, she suddenly encounters...
The Master has the exact same reactions when he's discovered his fourth ex-wife has changed the divorce settlement again. And then I have to get out the cattle prod to get him down from the ceiling.
And then Roger gets a scare of his own.
Roger. Keep trying. It'll come back to you.
Dead man.
Penny tells the General that his son is dead and the police are called in. Meanwhile, Claudette takes the stage. The police arrive, and as Walt Jr. is taken down, one of the officers finds a pocket knife in the director's hand. Then the investigating officer, Lieutenant Cross, played by Michael Lerner, holds a meeting with the majority of the staff.
Murder!
Maybe suicide, maybe murder. Either way, I'm missing my dinner.
It was murder, and I brought you here to find the killer, and I don't want you to leave until you've done that. Do you understand me, Lieutenant? Get my people out of here as soon as possible. I've got a network to run.
Now, which of you,
You sent for me?
maybe? Who are you?
I'm Claudette Kassenbeck, the va-va-va-voom girl with the va-va-va-voom voice. Who the hell are you?
I'm Lieutenant Cross, the Chicago cop with the short temper. I'm here investigating a Mr. Walt Whalen Jr.'s death.
Walt dead? No. Why didn't anybody tell me? Not that I actually knew the man. I didn't. I mean, he was a director, wasn't he?
I'd like to play poker with you sometime.
As the interrogation continues, the report comes in that Ruffles was poisoned, and a poorly timed comment by a suddenly semi-lucid Jules puts Roger right in the lieutenant's crosshairs.
Says your trumpet player was murdered. Pickled with an arsenic and gin cocktail.
That was rat poison.
He showed me Ruffles' flask.
Flask?
Roger had it.
Deja vu. Oh, look, this is all very explainable, okay? I was running by when they were carrying Ruffles' body off the stage, and he happened to drop his flask on my script, and I just picked it up.
I don't suppose you still have it.
No. Oh, of course not. Why would I still have it? Right here in my pocket where in all the confusion I forgot that I put it. Careful. It might have fingerprints on it. Fingerprints? Of course they're fingerprints. My fingerprints. I'm holding it, you idiot. Give me that.
Well, well, well. Roger's a regular Johnny on the spot. Placed to the scene of Whalen's death, and now he has the poison that killed poor Ruffles.
Hey!
Oh, pipe down, Dexter. Roger may be a lot of things, but he's not a murderer.
She's right. I'm not even a lot of things.
I said, shut up and sit down. Seem to know him pretty well for a secretary.
Well, I'm his wife, too. Ex-wife. Well, soon to be ex-wife. We're getting divorced.
How come?
I couldn't trust him. He lies. Not big lies. One big lie, but he never lied about killing anyone that I know of.
I'll remember you when I need a character witness.
Isn't that what's referred to in police jargon as a lead?
Oh, put a sock in it, Dexter. I happen to know that you had a fist fight with Junior just before he was killed.
Uh-huh. Guess that makes you what we refer to in police jargon as a suspect.
Now you're talking. Shut up. And sit down, I know.
Stay put, Mr. Morris. We like to ask our suspect a few questions. Don't wander too far, Shakespeare. You're next.
Roger begins his attempts to clear himself and encounters Claudette as she rifles through Ruffles' rigmarole.
Wait a moment. Did I just inflict you with unnecessary alliteration?
And now, that rip-roaring Rococo Romeo of ridiculous, roguish rigmarole and rhapsodic rapier-like repartee.
Won't happen again, Dexter.
Rick Rochester and his rascals of rhythm.
Irene, those writers.
Oh, good lord, now the film's doing it. Let's move on before it spreads, shall we?
As Rick Rochester takes the stage for a Spike Jones tribute number, another of the Mystery Voices riddles comes over the air.
You hadn't a clue of what to do when you caught your falling star.
Well, that's a good idea.
You got a better one?
The stage suddenly begins rotating on its own. Katzenbach begins to get angry, and Roger shows up with the pictures that Claudette recovered from Ruffles' locker. Katzenbach heads down to fix the stage, and Roger follows.
There must be a loose connection underneath the stage.
I'll fix it. Just shut off the power to the turntable while I'm down there. Then find me someone to fire.
Katzenbach goes under the turntable to fix it, and Roger confronts him with the evidence of Claudette's infidelity. But Katzenbach already knows, and as he removes the pipe blocking the gears, someone turns the turntable back on, and Katzenbach's monocle is caught in the gears, dragging him in and killing him.
You know, I feel there is a quip here that would be both simultaneously tasteless and yet funny.
It's Katzenbach. Pull him out.
Oh, it's Herman. He's everywhere.
Aha, there it is.
With Katzenbach's death, Roger thinks he has the mystery solved and outlines his theory to Lieutenant Cross.
I see this as a classical tragedy. In 3 acts. Act 1, Claudette and young Walt Whalen Jr. were indulging in some illicit sexercise. Exhibit A. Ruffles really had the photos. He was blackmailing them, threatening to go to Claudette's husband, Katzenbach. So Walt Jr. put an end to Ruffles. Reedy, he shut him up permanently. With poison, Exhibit B. Unfortunately, he killed him too late. Ruffles had already blown his tune to Katzenbach. Am I going too fast for you, Lieutenant?
Yeah, you're right.
Act 2. In a fit of insane jealousy, Katzenbach kills Walt Jr., his wife's young lover, which brings us to Act 3, the final act, the denouement, where Claudette, distraught, avenges Walt Jr.'s death by killing her husband. Herman Katzenbach lights down curtain. Thunderous applause.
Crazy people, crazy people, crazy people like me go crazy over people like you.
Not bad, Sherlock.
Anytime, Chief. I'm proud to have brought Claudette Katzenbach to justice. Though in a way, I almost feel sorry for her. You know, such a bitter, conniving, twisted personality.
I'll murder you, you little punk.
Though you gotta love her way around the show tune.
Claudette is arrested, and the General offers his congratulations to Roger.
Penny.
Soldier! That was clear thinking under fire.
Thank you, sir.
How much do I pay you anyway?
No, that's not necessary, sir. I mean, I only make $40 a week.
Sounds about right. Dismissed. We've lost our director and our station manager. A new leader's got to come forward and take command.
Well, the troops will follow you anywhere, sir.
I'm talking about you, Henderson. You're the director. You're the new station manager. I know they're big shoes to fill, but I think she has the feet for the job. I've got to go coddle King and the affiliates. I'm depending on you to keep this network running.
Yes, sir.
At ease, Private.
Director. Get back to your typewriter. We got a lot of work to do.
Miss Henderson!
With Penny's promotion, the only things left to get through are the rest of the night and get the remaining scripts written.
This is pitiful.
Beginnings and endings are easy, but your words are twisted and wheezy.
Well, it certainly looks like Roger accused the wrong person. Much like my cousin Edgar accused me of stealing the last biscuit from the barrel when we were children. Where were we?
Roger and Billy decode the riddles and determine each riddle spells out who's going to be killed next, and struggle to find a connection.
Katzenbach, Claudette's the falling star he caught having an affair. Keep it coming.
Beginnings and endings are easy, but your words are twisted and wheezy.
Words, twisted and wheezy. That's smoking, coughing. Dexter! What's Dexter got to do with it?
Dexter and everybody who left here in a hearse used to work with my dad back at WOWA in Peoria, till the FCC scandal broke it up.
Scandal?
Yeah, and their bathrooms was just as dirty. Coming in, shake a leg and zip it up.
WOWA.
Peoria.
Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. Dexter is next.
Roger and Billy race to the announcer's booth and try to save him from...
And you'll see what I mean when I say...
Well, that.
With Dexter's murder, Lieutenant Cross and the police return and seal off the building. Wanting to keep the affiliates from panicking, the General orders Billy to keep the affiliates in the lounge.
You, front and center. I got a job for you.
Yes, sir, General Whalen. We'll have the new announcer up and running before you can...
Stow it, Grunt. I can't have any scuttlebutt about our latest casualty. If the affiliates get word, they'll be out of here quicker than Shinola through a goose. Do whatever you have to do to keep them in that room.
Boy, I love radio, but I love a good pee even more. Open up! I gotta go to the bathroom!
Well, an empty bottle's always good in a pinch.
Penny tries to keep things calm and keep the show running. Roger tries to get the crowd on her side, but Lieutenant Cross hauls him into the General's office for interrogation.
You led me down the garden path with that Claudette broad. But you were the one with Ruffles' flask. You were the one who was up there hanging around with Walt. You were the one with Katzenbach when he got crushed into kibble. And you were the one who just happened to get there in time to see Dexter light up like a Roman candle. How do you explain all that?
I'm having an off day?
Yeah.
What about those recordings, huh? That mysterious voice?
I got 2 words of advice for you, punk.
Get a lawyer!
Wait a minute. What mysterious voice?
Across the waves you gathered your host to see them line up from ghost to ghost.
That one, that's the killer. He's broken into the broadcast before each of the murderers. Those riddles tell you who's gonna be next.
Big deal. You could have written them yourself. You said there were recordings. All right. You got 30 seconds to tell me what it means.
Hey! Take it easy, fellas. Just going to a typewriter helps me think.
Roger interprets the riddle to mean that the General is the next intended victim. The police take the General out of the booth he's sharing with Bernie King, and then take Roger back into custody. Meanwhile, the murderer begins to pump nitrous oxide into the booth. Bernie King begins laughing, which makes Roger suspicious.
Holy mackerel. He's laughing. Bernie King is actually laughing.
All right, come on.
No, wait a minute, Lieutenant. Bernie King never laughs at anything.
All right, come on, kid. We got a lot to talk about.
No, wait. Something's wrong up there. The General was supposed to be in that booth till you took him out. Bernie King's gonna be killed by mistake.
Oh, gee. I hate interrupting a man who's enjoying his own murder so much.
This is true. So many murderers fail to make their victims' last moments on Earth pleasant.
Roger escapes from the police and manages to get to the booth just too late to save King.
Yes.
Roger is arrested again, and as he tries to find out where Penny is, he drops his cigarette lighter on the floor. Up in the office, the General and Penny are informed that Roger killed King.
Caught him red-handed, miss.
He can't be dead. He's our biggest sponsor. Not that it wouldn't be a tragedy if he wasn't. Henderson, let's march.
General, I really think you better stay up here.
I don't take orders from sergeants. Men, I understand the gravity of the situation. I will treat every step as if it could be my last.
Oh, dear. Oh, my gosh. No time to faint.
Cross discovers evidence of tampering in the elevator shaft, along with Roger's cigarette lighter, and confronts Roger with it. Penny goes to ask Roger whether he's the murderer, and Roger professes his innocence, and quickly hatches a plan to escape.
I killed him. Yes. I killed them all.
Why'd you do it, kid?
Why? You want to know why? Because I hate doing rewrites. Watch out!
All right. Stand back, man. Give him room.
Rewrites. Polishes gags. I mean, they always want more gags, and then they read them wrong anyway. They all laughed at me. I'm just a writer. They thought they were better than me, but they weren't. They're just cockroaches. And what do you do with cockroaches? You squash them.
Or he loses his mind. Take your pick.
Roger says he has more evidence that he killed everyone up in his desk, and Cross agrees to take him to the writer's room. Meanwhile, Max comforts Penny in the booth.
I don't know what to think. Thought I knew him. I couldn't have been that wrong about him, could I?
You want a straight answer?
Uh-huh. No. Yes.
Penny, now, you know that Roger is not a maniac killer. Roger is not organized enough to order dinner, let alone plan 6 murders. And as for Claudette, oh, come on.
I saw them.
No, what you saw was a crazy woman throwing herself at an innocent bystander. Number 1, Roger loves you. Number 2, Claudette has tried to jump on every man in this building at one time or another. Believe me.
Roger leads the police to the writer's room and causes a mini riot by screaming that there's paychecks available. This gives Roger a chance to make a break for it and apparently commit suicide by jumping out the window. The police go to gather his remains, but Roger's actually on the ledge outside.
What follows is a sequence of Roger's mishaps on the outside of the building. It is a funny sequence, however it has very little relevance to the plot, so we're going to skip ahead to the point where he's already back inside. One thing to note, however, thanks to a group of trigger-happy police officers, it is now assumed by the police that Roger is armed.
A penguin in the halls gives Billy a message to deliver to Penny. It turns out the message is from Roger asking Penny to meet him in their special place. The special place turns out to be the roof of the building. Roger is, of course, in the penguin suit, and he tries to reconnect with Penny and convince her of his innocence.
I think... No, you go first.
I'm sorry. Oh, we're talking at the same time.
Married people do that. Penny. You remember our first time up here? You remember we sneaked up here, we brought that champagne? We stared up at that tower, and we figured out how we could talk to the whole world through radio, you know? You know, take the people anywhere we wanted. I don't know if you even believe I'm innocent. But I love you.
Roger informs Penny that he's going to break into the file room to find out what happened at WOWA. Penny offers to get him the key to the file room, but Roger doesn't want her involved. Then the two are interrupted by a police officer. Penny states that Roger has a gun, and Roger plays along in order to escape, Penny whispering to him that she will get him the key in 10 minutes. Down in the writer's room, the writers realize that with King dead, they don't have to rewrite any more scripts. Back in the booth, Penny sends Billy out to meet up with Roger and get him the key to the file room.
Conchita. I was looking for a penguin, but, I guess I got a couple of minutes.
Ow! It's me, you chowderhead!
Billy is not the brightest page at the network.
Billy convinces Roger to let him help solve the mystery, and the two break into the file room where Roger finds the file he's looking for.
Miscellaneous. Found it! WOWA. List of employees. FCC scandal.
Where's the light switch?
Shh.
What's in here?
That's the file room. It's locked.
Oh, it was the killer! I saw him, he was horrible! He was a tall guy and short, too. And he was wearing this really nice suit, though it was kind of shabby. And he had blackish, brownish, reddish, blondish, kind of whitish hair.
That is an uncanny description of the master, actually.
As Roger tries to find somewhere safe to read the file, Penny gets some bad news in the booth.
All right. Perfect. I don't know what happened to Billy. 10 minutes to the last show. We don't have a script.
And this differs from the other 6 times this has happened tonight. In what way exactly?
The writers have left the building.
Good answer.
Finding a safe place to look the file over, Roger finds a photo of the WOWA staff and spots one of the people in the photo has the same pocket knife found with Walt Jr.
That's where I saw that knife. I can't believe it. I mean, why him? How am I going to tell anybody without getting filled full of lead?
Gork, son of fire!
Yeah, I'll get to it. That script's not finished yet.
Roger quickly takes up residence on a ledge outside one of the rehearsal rooms to finish the last script. Meanwhile, in the booth, Lieutenant Cross calls for more police and asks Penny what she was doing up there. As the dancers finish rehearsing, they hear the typewriter and report Roger's location to the police. Thinking quickly, Penny uses the PA to warn Roger. Shortly after this, Billy gets a call in the booth.
Billy, it's for you.
Me? A phone call for me here? Well, it must be pretty important. Hello, Billy Budget here.
Do you want to help Roger Henderson?
Sure I do.
Then make contact with the Latin bongo player in the 8th floor broom closet.
Gotcha. I'm on it.
Ah, yes. I have many fond memories of my younger days meeting shady musicians in broom closets. So many chemicals at hand. I'm sorry, where was I?
Roger hands off the first half of the Gork script for Penny to air while he finishes the second half. Billy rushes the script to the actors and the show goes on. But something's odd.
Place to sit. Gork, sit.
It's a time machine, and Gork has accidentally activated it. The caveman is transported through centuries, hurtling through eons of time, until he at last finds himself standing in his mastodon robes and dinosaur headdress in the middle of a large metropolitan radio station.
Radio station.
Where
the heck?
What the hell was that little announcement about, Mrs. Anderson?
6 brutal murders have been committed in the station. Judging by the offbeat way Gork dresses,
It's not making much sense. Should I cue in a commercial?
Oh no, let it play, Max. I think he's trying to tell us something.
Meanwhile, up on the catwalk above the stage, Roger scribbles out the second half of the script, but is confronted by a police officer just as the actors run out of lines. The two struggle and the remaining pages fall to the actors, who scrabble to read them. Roger makes his escape, and Billy forces the actors out on stage to complete the show, and reveal the identity of the murderer.
And sadly, we shall have to leave Roger fending off the police and you in suspense. Unless, of course, you're sufficiently intrigued to locate this film for yourself.
As a comedy, Radioland Murders is a bit hit and miss. Some jokes work, but those who are not fond of screwball antics and slapstick may not enjoy it. As a mystery, however, it holds up fairly well. While the motivation of the murderer may seem a bit insubstantial, in terms of construction, the film plays fair. Repeat viewing will show that it is logically consistent as to how the murders were committed, and the climax of the film is quite thrilling.
Despite its poor box office showing, Radioland Murders is a delightful mix of comedy and mystery. The film is available on DVD relatively inexpensively, and Netflix does have it as part of its internet streaming service. Do give this one a viewing, won't you? I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And now, I'm afraid I must bring our visit to a close. In addition to the library fumigation, there's a troop of angry Girl Scouts out on the front lawn that need to be seen to. Do feel free to join me again for another trip to the Master's extensive collection here at Whodunit Hall. Gardenia, the Girl Scouts are back! Release the wolves!